Hey peeps, it's Jedd here from Disrupt Tutoring, and as always it's such a pleasure to join you. Today we're going to do some algebraic equations, and let's dive straight in. Right, so in the first one, it's quite a simple one, nice and easy linear equation. So let's get straight into it. Remember, our job is to keep all of the variables to one side and all of our numbers to the other side. So I'm going to do that immediately, and I'm going to say 3x is left on the left hand side, and then I'm going to move this minus 1 over to that side, which will change the sign to positive. So that's going to be 5 plus 1. So that's going to give us 3x equals 6. And now we need to get this x by itself. So we're going to divide both sides by 3. And that means that x is equal to 2. All right, so remember guys, when it comes to fractions, we can check that we're right by putting it back into the original. So if we put the 2 back into the x, we've got 3 times x is 6 minus 1 is 5, which then equals the right-hand side, which is also 5. Great, and that gives you like 2 marks, which is awesome. Moving on to the next one, we've got something that looks a little bit more complicated. Remember, always get rid of those brackets. Let's get rid of those brackets. We can't do brackets, we can't solve inside the brackets because there isn't any like terms. There aren't any like terms within the bracket. So, what should we do? So, there's 2 different things we need to use here. So, we've got the one rule here, nice shortcut, where we've got a FOIL, but it's of a square, so there's a quick way of getting through to the answer. All right, and I'll go through that with you now. And then I've got the typical FOIL on the right-hand side. So we're going to deal with both of those. Right, so let's deal with the left-hand side first. Okay, so 2, okay, let's open up our brackets so that we can simplify this. What do? We square the first term, so that gives us x squared. We square the last term and it becomes a plus 4. And then we need to multiply the 2 and double it. So multiplied is 2x, doubled is 4x, and there's a minus, so it's minus 4x. So that quickly deals with that bracket first. Very important that you know that rule because it saves you a lot of time. And now we're going to use FOIL on the next one. The way I approach it typically is I times both terms by this one. And then I'm going to times both terms by this one. All right. So 2x times x gives me 2x squared. 2x times minus 3 gives me minus 6x. Minus 1 times x gives me minus x. And then minus 1 times minus 3 gives me a positive 3. Nice and simple. Last thing we need to do is we need to get rid of that one last bracket by using our distributive law and timesing that into each of the terms inside the brackets. The reason I use this little sign, you don't have to use it, but essentially it means therefore. Okay? You can also use 3 dots, 3 triangular dots on top of each other, but remember, you don't necessarily have to use it. So I'm going to use my distributive law to simplify this, and it becomes 2x squared minus 8x plus 8. Okay, so I've multiplied that in beautifully. Equals 2x squared. I'm going to simplify this in the meanwhile, just to save some space and time. So minus 6x minus x gives me minus 7x plus 3. Brilliant. Now guys, the trick here is, do you see I've got this 2x squared on both sides? Which means I can minus a 2x squared on both sides and cancel those out. What I do to one side, I always need to do to the other. Now, what do? We need to make sure all of our x's come to one side and all of our numbers stay on the other side. And I'm going to keep the minus 8x on the left-hand side, minus 8x. And I can see I've got a negative 7x over there. So I'm going to bring that across, and that's going to be plus 7x. And that equals, so what have we got left? We've got a plus 3 on this side, so that's going to be 3. And I've got a plus 8 over there, which becomes a negative 8. And now I can simplify both sides. So on the left-hand side, I've got minus 8x plus 7x, and that's going to leave me with minus x. And then on the right-hand side, I've got 3 minus 8, which is going to give me minus 5. Now I'm going to divide both sides by this negative 1 that's in front of the x. So I'm going to divide by negative 1 on both sides. And that means my final answer is going to be x is equal to 5. And that gives me that final answer. And then if you plug that back in, you'll be able to check that it is the right answer. That's all from me, guys. Really appreciate you joining me. Really appreciate the time and money our sponsors have put in for this video to be made possible. If you're keen on more of these videos, visit our website. If you can't find the question that you're looking for, remember you can send the question to us and we will respond with a personalized video just for you. Until the next time, stay epic.